Alrighty, welcome to the weekend video. This is Enda here, and I'm going to go through what I think might be going on with the markets right now. Anyway, obviously this is an Elliott Wave update, and that's what I will concentrate on. For those of you who have been around here for a while, you know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go through the markets that I follow from the longer term charts down to the short term charts. And we'll see what next week may have in store. So it's coming on 5 o'clock in the evening here. So it's coming on afternoon over in the States, and it's time to just dive into what's happened. A bit of movement this morning in the stock market, and a little bit of movement in the dollar. I'm not sure much has changed, to be honest. So, okay, let's start at euro dollar. So we'll go through the FX pairs and go from there. Okay, so this is a daily euro dollar. Again, long-term chart is a long winding possible triangle B wave, then move down into a C wave. At the moment I'm looking at a topping out in wave C of this B wave triangle. So we have another two large moves to go, wave D and wave E. Wave D I'm kind of targeting around the 110 area for that low of wave D to happen. Okay. The 4-hour chart, you can see off the wave C high. So far we have 3 waves down, and I think we're working on 3 waves up. We got a new high, slight new high today, which invalidates the recent short-term chart off this interim top here. But we still have 3 waves down. I think we're still working on 3 waves up, and then we should get 5 waves down again in wave C of D. So this would be a 3-3-5 structure to the downside. Into the hourly chart here, you can see there's the wave A low, and we're working on wave B. So it's a tricky pattern. It's really hard to nail down right now. I think we've got a triangle B wave within wave A, so that gives us an A B wave triangle, C wave up, and then maybe an expanded flat wave B. So we've got A down, 3 waves up in B. I'll get rid of this. 3 waves up in B, and then wave C to fall. I suppose at this point you would target about the previous B wave low, so maybe around the 117 area, and in wave C down. The interesting thing is, like, we've got an extension, I suppose, if this is a B wave, got an extension in wave C of B, and then we should fall quickly. But, well, to be honest, I don't see a whole lot of other interpretations for this pattern right now, unless something pops out of the blue over the next day or two. I'm still working on a large B wave, and then I would be expecting wave C down to begin next week. I suppose right now, if wave B here in blue is going to continue, then we would probably target that 62% retracement level, maybe 118.50. All along, I was kind of looking at that 118 level, and the initial move down off that recent high did kind of hint at the possibility that wave C was beginning, but that obviously got ruled out. That obviously got ruled out today with this break to a slight new high. So we'll see how this B wave here plays out early next week. Maybe Monday we'll see a decline in wave C, and then a rally in a decline in complete wave B, and then a rally in wave C beginning mid next week. Unless that is something else becomes clear here, there is a possibility that we have this as a 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5 all coming in wave C of B earlier, I suppose, than this wave count shows it. But sooner rather than later, I think we'll complete this B wave, and then we'll head lower in wave C again. Okay, so let's move on to cable. Cable, again, a triangle. Despite the move higher in both markets today, I still think we're still we're looking at a corrective high in a three-wave move down. Sorry, an interim corrective high in a three-wave move down. So we've got the initial move off the high. This is also a triangle, so it's wave D of the triangle. So it should be 3 waves down and then 3 waves up to complete the triangle. The 4-hour chart here, you can see we've got A and B completing, and then wave C showing that 3 waves move. And now on the hourly chart, I've got 5 waves down in A. Kind of an expanded flat wave B. This wave C of B, the reason I'm not turning bullish here at all, this would be the main reason I'm not turning bullish, is you can see the amount of overlap in this rally here. We've gone absolutely nowhere for a damn near 10 days now. Just gone sideways. We've drifted sideways. This is a corrective penultimate move, and we seem to be getting the ultimate move now to complete probably a 5th wave of wave C of wave B. And this move here does not look impulsive at all, and hence the reason I'm not willing to kind of consider anything else for cable right now, other than this rally will capitulate, and then we will get another move down, probably beginning next week. I did expect that move to begin this week, but that initial move lower off the high, I was again skeptical of that throughout the week, but it just got blown out of the water today in terms of that being an impulsive move lower. But what have we got to work with right now? We've still got this corrective kind of a grind higher in wave B. We're targeting, we've just broken the 38% retracement of the overall move. Actually, if we go to overall move, depending on how you measure that, let's see where the retracement level is at right now. Again, wave B hasn't even hit the 38% retracement of the initial decline in wave A. So it's taken a long time to go absolutely nowhere. In terms of the end of wave A was at the 11th of September. It's now the 9th of October. So it's pretty much a month that has shown absolutely no rally at all. It's been just a dead grind sideways. Excuse me. A dead grind sideways in what I think is a B wave. I'm just topping up on water there. And I think we will get an impulsive move lower in wave C to kind of to close out a larger 3-wave decline. And then we can talk about a rally in cable. But right now, the risk is to the downside, and that's not changing. Okay. Dollar yen, we are looking up. We've been looking up for a few weeks now, and I think we're probably finally near that, or either have topped out or we're very near to topping out in a wave 1 up off the low. That low came in at, on the 4-hour chart, came at 103.98 or so, and you can see that low is down here. And now what I'm tracking is a series of 1-2 rallies actually. So we've got 5 waves up in wave 1 green, A, B, C down. I'll actually zoom out, or should I? No, it's not going to allow me to zoom out. Zoom out there. Now, wave 1 green, wave 2 in green, and that traced out a clear 3-wave move lower. Freudian slip there. And then 5 waves up in wave 1 in blue, and what's happening now is 3 waves down in wave 2 in blue. Last night I was expecting possibility of one more pop higher before falling in wave 2 because of this triangle pattern here. I still think it's a triangle, but the overnight action dropped and broke out of the triangle, so it's a triangle within wave 2. So it's wave A down, wave B triangle, and now 5 waves down in wave C. We're probably still tracing that out right now. So it looks like early next week, Monday, most of Monday probably, will be completing this wave C of 2, and we're targeting about that 105.40 level again. But once we complete 3 waves down, then I would look for another resumption of the rally in wave 3. Wave 3 of 3, so there is the potential for quite a sharp rally, actually, in the dollar next week. Okay, stocks. We've again pushed to another interim high this week. So if we are building a right-hand shoulder here, it's a pretty substantial right-hand shoulder around the recent top. I think also that we are pushing the boundaries of the bearish interpretation here. So this is going to have to turn very quickly. Otherwise, tonight I'm going to take a look at the more, let's say, short-term bullish possibilities that might be developing here. So watch out for that tonight on the update. That depends on how the rest of the day goes, I suppose, really. But right now, it is looking like we're really at the upper end of what we should expect in any second wave retracement. Okay, so let's get into the hourly chart here. If we've got a wedge pattern to the downside in wave 1 there in blue, and it seems like maybe a 3-wave pattern up in wave 2 blue, and right now we're at we've grinded around the below the 78.6% retracement throughout this week, and right now we're just kind of touching that 78% retracement of the previous decline. So at this point in time, if I was to take this pattern here, and if I were to try and let's say parse out the bullish interpretation of it, the best bullish interpretation, if I'm going to steel man this, let's say, best bullish interpretation here would be 5 waves up into this high here, and that would be a wave 1. And then you've got 3 waves down in a second wave, and then you've got 5 waves up again in wave 1 at a lower degree, and then which doesn't look like a 3 waves down, but you would say maybe there's some sort of correction there in a second wave, and then 5 waves up again in another wave 1, and then you would expect 3 waves down again. So it would be a series of 1, 2, and 3 impulse waves to the upside. And if it's a series of 3 impulse waves to the upside, that should lead to a pretty serious rally, dead ahead in a third wave, and that third wave would carry us well above the 30,000 level, and hence the reason I am disbelieving. The other interpretation for the bearish count would be that we have a running flat B wave. So right now I'm taking wave A up in 3 and B down in 3, but this could be 3 and 3, and maybe it's some sort of 3 as well. So it could be let's say a complex running flat if a running flat ain't complex enough. So if this is wave B low, then you could go maybe wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and then maybe wave 5 is developing right now. It's a stretch. I think the main interpretation is most likely the best fit at this point in time. I think we've got a 3-wave move up in A, an A, B, C down in B, and then a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wedge pattern or ending diagonal, if that's what you want to call it, in wave C to complete wave 2. I can be proved wrong. Obviously, the market has gone and proved me wrong many times. But I suppose one thing I have learned in the last while is to do not underestimate the willingness and ability of people to dive in with their eyes closed. More power to you if that's what you want to do. Reality will eventually bite back, Reality will eventually, crush you. But for now, it looks like the bulls are in charge, and at the moment, I'm still tracking this as a C wave, and we will see what early next week brings. Okay, so gold has again pushed slightly higher today. I was chatting with a guy during the week, and the question was, is there a reason why this interim or this low here back in late September is not the final low of a three-wave decline? There is no reason per se why this can't be the final low of either wave A or the larger degree wave 4, but in both cases, I would expect if this is wave C of a three-wave move, so you've got wave A down and a B wave triangle, and then excuse me, then wave C down. In both cases, I would expect wave C to at least match wave A, but more likely to extend further than wave A. And if that's the case, what would you expect? Well, you would expect wave C to reach, let's get this fib level here. If it'll come with me, come on, little fibby. You would expect wave C to push down towards 1760. And we only got to 1850, So there's $90 there that's left missing. And if this three-wave move is in fact the larger degree fourth wave in blue here, well then you would expect wave C to push down towards, the low 1600, 1620 or something, where wave C would extend to 162% of wave A. We didn't get anywhere near that, so we're in that case we're $200 off rather than $90 off. So I find the bullish case wanting just yet. It's not that I'm not a bull, I always have to defend myself for some reason, even though, way back, 2 years ago, I was an uber bull in gold when gold was trading, $1,100. Even though, I am a long-term bull on gold and the prospects for gold and, its ability to become money again. Well, I suppose it's always money. If God likes gold, well, then I'm going to like gold. But right now, the fiat empire has not been destroyed. If anything, it's been bolstered over this last while. People don't, when there's a global pandemic and people lose their jobs, they ain't shouting for gold in the streets. They're shouting for dollars. They're shouting for euros. They're shouting for credits. The fiat empire has not been destroyed yet. It will be, but not yet. Hence the reason, let's get back out of the ethereal for the moment. Hence the reason I still expect a larger degree or a larger move, let's say, in wave C down to complete either wave A, as I'm showing right here, or wave 4, larger degree wave 4. So I'm kind of doing this chart on the fly here, which I shouldn't be doing, but that's what I'm doing. So this is my YouTube channel. You can get over it. Okay. All right. Gold move higher today, and suddenly all the bulls are back on the train again. Tooting their horns and shouting that we're back into the bull market. Don't jump too soon there. Let's get into the hourly chart. I still think that we've got 5 waves down in a possible wave 1. And maybe we're working on 3 waves up in wave 2, a larger degree 3 waves up in wave 2. We've got a pretty damn decent impulsive move lower this week because we broke earlier on today that high at 1920. It seems that this spike lower earlier on this week was simply just a completion of a B wave. So this was an A, B, C running, or an expanded flat wave B, and now we moved higher today in wave C. Hey, maybe even wave C is complete right now. I mean, we're moving down off the session high. We were back at this pivot high here again. So 1920 looks like well, it's short-term support at the moment. Let's see if we can break down through that 1920, and then the wave A high there about 1915. I still think this is a three-wave move, even if we do trace out one more move up. Maybe it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe we'll get a higher high, excuse me, in wave C to complete wave 2. But I still think there's another decline coming. It just smacks of how would you say, the greasing of the confidence wheel there, an overconfidence wheel. I think once we get back down under this trend line again, that will indicate that wave C is underway. And if we break 1872 again, that'll be the first sign, or first signal that it's time to get out of the way, because wave 3 down will be underway at that point. Okay, next week, this has been an extended experiment in wave 2, so let's see if we can get wave 3 underway. Move on. Crude oil, where are you? Here we are. Okay, here's the 4-hour count in crude oil. Looks like, even if you have a rudimentary understanding of Elliott wave, you would expect 5 waves in the direction of the trend and 3 waves in the direction against the trend. So, 3 waves to move against the trend. I only have a rudimentary understanding of Elliott wave, it turns out. If you were just to look at this chart, this is a 4-hour chart. If you were to look at that chart and what's happened off that recent top, you would just say that looks like 5 waves down, and that looks like a 3 waves sideways corrective pattern. Yes, no? Yes, no, I think so. Okay, let's get down into the hourly chart. We've got 5 waves down in wave 1. We have an extended pattern in wave 2. We've got 3 waves up. It looks like it's a flat correction at this moment in time. So we've got 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down in B, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And within wave 5 of C, we've got wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and today we've got spike higher, which is close to completing wave 5. The minimum target I was expecting for this wave was 4170, so that's the wave A high. On my chart anyway, this is a derivative chart, so hold your horses on that. The cash chart will be slightly different. Wave 3, 4, and 5 is completing within wave 5, within wave C, within wave 2. So the next wave will be, anyone with the first guess goes at the sound of the gong, down. Wave 3 down. The initial move in wave 1 of 3, I think, should bring us down towards this this previous B wave low here. So somewhere down around the 37 handle for wave 1 down. That should trace out 5 waves down. I've only shown 3 as a kind of a representation there. So 5 waves down in wave 1, and then a corrective lower high again in wave 2, and then an acceleration lower in wave 3. So crude oil right now is calling bullshit on the stock market. That's what crude oil is doing. The bond market, by the way, is calling bullshit on the stock market too. And that the bond market has been screaming. It's been screaming blue murder for months and months and months now. And I heard, what was it, yesterday I read a story that the Irish government sold, I think it was 1.2 billion euros of 10-year bonds at negative 0.4. I'll have to double check this now because I'll put it in tonight's update. Negative 0.4 interest in 10-year bonds. Now, when Ireland was a poster child of the previous economic crisis, Ireland was the poster child of the debt crisis. I think our rates went to 16 or 18% at one point in 2011 or 12. That's when, sorry, 2010, late 2010, when the the IMF and the EU pulled credit out of a bag and bailed out Greece and Ireland and Portugal and anyone else that could throw in there, Cyprus. Ireland was the poster child. Ireland was the eye in the pigs, PIGGS, wasn't it? Or PIIGS, forgive me. And they sold $1 billion. Like $1 billion is nothing for the UK, the US, or France, or anything like that. But $1 billion printing at -0.4 for Ireland, that is huge news. That is, and of course, everybody actually on the news, they thought that this was an amazing thing. They thought that this was fantastic, like that it's such a vote of confidence in the Irish government. Oh boy, are you so wrong. This is obviously, it's not a good thing to be giving a bad creditor more credit, or sorry, a bad debtor more credit. But the only thing that news actually says, or the only truth that news conveys, is how horribly deflationary and how horribly bad the economic outlook is, according to the bond market. The bond market says, I will give $1 billion or €1 billion to a bad credit, and I will accept less money back, -0.4 return after 10 years, because that's a better bet than anything else out there right now for the next 10 years. That's just mental. I just could not get my head around it. Hey, it's your money. Do what you like with it, but boy, oh boy, I wish you would have asked me first. I would have taken it off you, and I would have given you less back. Okay, all right, let's get out of this. This is crude oil, 3 waves up. I would expect to see the first turn down into wave 3 down before the middle of next week. Okay, so let's move on to the S&P. S&P is, again, grinding higher for the last week or so. We have the same conundrum here, the chase for anything that will return is here, and it's been here for a long time actually. But the chase for anything that will return is not called investment. Whatever they're doing in the stock market right now, or whatever, the algorithms are doing in the stock market right now, is simply a chase of momentum. And whatever moves, that's what you'll chase. I'm still tracking the possibility of a leading diagonal down in wave 1, and maybe we've got some sort of ending diagonal in wave C of 2 right now. We haven't gone as far as the 78% retracement here yet, that it would come in at 3,500. I was thinking that last night that that we were in this cluster, this zone of resistance here, an A and a C wave high and a previous 4th wave high. That didn't work out. Obviously, we've pushed higher again this evening. Obviously, again, I'm saying obviously a lot. I may be proved wrong on this one. But still, the balance of probabilities, I think, is in my favor here. If I was to count, I'm going to steelman myself here again. If I was to count this in a bullish way, then what I've got here is wave 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and 2 should probably fall back into this upward sloping trend line here. So that's a series of 3 impulse waves to the upside, which should be followed by an absolute explosion higher in, an explosion higher in a 3rd wave. Obviously, if we break out to a new all-time high, then we are in that 3rd wave, and that's that. I don't know. Given that we've got this sluggish momentum here, we're topping out again. I don't know, do we get this on this turn? You know, the bet is all one way at this point. It's never a case that everybody is correct, and that's the if there's one absolute truth in the market, it's the case that the majority is never really correct. Okay, so we're going to keep working on this possible second wave, and if we get another lower high off this second wave high, then we are into bearish territory big time. Okay, let's move on. Let's get to silver and alternatives. Let's say Bitcoin. We have a count in in silver that there's a slight bullish tinge to it, but I still don't think we're there. Again, in silver, I am a long-term bull. I think, well, I've got a weekly count of silver here. I think in silver, over the long term, I think we're back up to $60 somewhere up there. But that'll be in an all-out crisis, and nobody has recognized that we're in an all-out crisis yet. So we're in this kind of mid-term move, this second wave correction. So it'll be let's say, a deflating move within the silver sphere or the silver market. It should be quite a deep retracement. We got this sharp move up in wave one. That's wave one of C. It should be a deep enough retracement in wave two, and I don't think we're there yet, to be honest. Daily count will show you. Well, it's hard to kind of pull that out, to be honest. 5 waves up in wave one, and we're still working on wave two. I think we're well, if I go to the 4-hour count, it'll probably show this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We're still probably in wave 4, and we will move lower into wave 5. And I keep coming back to this left shoulder here of support here. That's about $18, $19. So I think wave 2 will finish in about that $18, $19 area, and then we move higher into wave 3. When the air has been completely left or let out of this market. So you can see here I'm tracking this fourth wave. We broke out. It was a nice move lower, I have to say. Earlier on this week, I thought that was the initial 1-2 move down into wave 5. Turns out not to be. We had to move higher overnight, and we had to move higher today again. So it looks like we've got 3 waves up in A, 3 waves down in wave B, in green there, and then it looks like we're tracing out maybe an ending diagonal wave C. In wave 4. I don't want to see the market push above $26, so that's $25.80. Yeah, it doesn't look like we're going to get there either right now, but I still think this is a combination or a complex correction in wave 4, and we will yield again to a decline in wave 5 of 5 over the next couple of weeks, or sorry, over the next week or so. The alternate count is the more bullish interpretation, but even there, I would expect that we would see a higher low form over the next few days, or sorry, yeah, probably a few days. If we got a trend line there, if we fell back in 3 waves off down, let's say towards the $23 mark, and then we bounced again, that would indicate that we are probably shifting towards the bullish interpretation, but I'm just not there yet, to be honest. This looks way too corrective to the upside to be interpreted as anything other than that at the moment. Okay, silver. That's silver. Here's Bitcoin. I was tracking this possible triangle in Bitcoin last week, or throughout the week there, and the midweek video I was talking about that triangle scenario. We seem to be bouncing off that the trend channel line again today. So let's get into the hourly count. Here you can see the triangle completing with 4, maybe a 1, 2, and seems we've got 5 waves up, more or less complete now in wave 3. So we've got a wave 1, 2, 3, and then we should get another 4th and 5th wave up over the next couple of days. In general, if we go to the daily count, my target And this is not set in stone either, but the target seems to be at about 13,800. So 14,000 for wave C of B to complete, and then we head lower into wave C. And wave C will be devastating for Bitcoin. And again, like I said with gold earlier, it's not that, well, it's slightly different with Bitcoin. I'm not a believer in Bitcoin, to be honest, but that doesn't mean it's not worth looking at. The How do I phrase this? The stress that people have been under of late, the economic stress that people have been under of late, has brought them out, in the political and the economic sphere. They've come out shouting again for dollars and credit. That's what they've come out looking for. I have not heard anybody coming out shouting for Bitcoin yet. I haven't heard anyone, shouting to be given free Bitcoin. And until I hear people, well, actually, if I do hear people coming out shouting to be given free Bitcoin, then that's the time to be selling Bitcoin big time. Well, that'll be a top if there ever was one. But, there is no, let's say, there is no major reason for, or to be long-term bullish on Bitcoin, because nobody will want it. When financial stress comes, people run for dollars. That's what happens. And it's not just the US. The whole world runs for dollars when financial stress comes, because they know nothing else. It takes generations for people to change from one system to another. We don't change on a whim. People keep talking about the dollar standard being at the end, in its last legs, or on its last legs. By the way, the only reason that the Chinese are trying to move away, build an alternative system against dollars, is because their whole system is so starved of dollars, and they're in a huge dollar crunch. Of course, they want to get away from dollars, and of course, they're trying to settle international payments in their own currency. Even though I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot barge pole, light your cigarette with it. I wouldn't do anything else with it. The only reason the Chinese and the Russians want to get away from dollars is because they can't live without them. So, again, until people start burning dollars, or heating their homes with dollars, which is not for a long, long time away, then you can. Then gold will be a safe bet, and Bitcoin will probably be, worth punting at. But we're a long, long way from that. I'm doing a lot of prognosticating today. I should get back to the charts. Okay, let's move on. We have the German market. Let's get the hourly chart on the DAX. Still looks like we've got 3 waves up. I'm looking at a 1, 2, 1, 2, and then we should again fall in a 1, 2 pattern. I don't read this any other way at the moment. It looks like the belief in Germany is crumbling, even in Germany, of all places. Hey, let's see if we can push downwards next week with an impulse pattern in a 3rd wave. Okay, the Nasdaq is the US market is the last outpost for Western speculators, or speculation in the world. It's the US market. That's where people are. That's where the whole world is, and that's where endless amount of funds have found their way. Central bank funds mostly. Cheap credit. It seems to be the biggest carry trade that was ever implemented on planet Earth. Was the borrow from the public purse and dump it into the US market. Any sort of any trade will do, just as long as it's in the US. Let's, for fear of just dwelling on the obvious here, we are at a lower high in the Nasdaq. I don't claim to be any sort of Houdini, but that to me looks like a lower high. And at the moment, we've got a feasible three-wave pattern up. We are within a resistance zone. We are pretty typical retracement in a second wave, a 61.8% retracement. And, the road is clear next week for a turn again. And so that's what I will be looking for. Okay, that does it. That closes it out. That's God knows how many markets and how many minutes of pulpit talk. I want to pray that you have a great weekend. I don't think we're anywhere out of the woods at all. Everyone should expect a reflation period after, the initial, let's say, panic. And then, as Raoul Paul puts it, we move into the liquidation phase. And wave 3 down is a liquidation phase, or wave C down, if you want to call it that. So that's not going to happen this weekend. I pray you have a nice weekend. Enjoy it with your family. God bless you all, and by the blood of Jesus, we'll be back next week. Be good. God bless. Bye-bye.